everyone. Hey, Ann and Chris and Deborah, Donna, Luis, Marcy, Margie, Michael. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll get going here in just a minute or two. I know we're going to be live streaming on Facebook as well, and we'll have our Q&A little icon available for folks to click on as those issues come up and those questions come in. So, but welcome all. So good to see everyone. Hope you're having a good start to your Earth Week. Lots of exciting things planned for tonight and tomorrow and Thursday, and then on Saturday, well, Friday and Saturday, all week, Earth Week all the time. Awesome. All right. Hey, and we got Margie, and we got a 404 number calling in. Welcome, 404. Awesome. All right. Very good. Well, let me just wait another minute or so. Oh, there's Samantha. Hey, Samantha. Awesome. All right. All right. Okay. Well, let's go and get started because we are live on Facebook, and I know folks are going to be watching through there. I want to just bring words of welcome here. Thank you to everyone who joined us in person and virtually last night at the Maloof Auditorium in downtown Decatur at our DeKalb County government building. We had a great turnout to kick off our DeKalb Green New Deal organizing effort. It's a people-powered movement to tackle the dual issues of climate change and economic inequality, to really focus in on our local approach to how we are going to create a more sustainable, resilient, and equitable DeKalb County. And so this DeKalb Green New Deal kicked off last night. We had a great discussion and presentation from and with Dr. Jackie Eccles from the South River Watershed Alliance. And this today, tomorrow, and Thursday, we're going to be covering 3 different topic areas that are sort of kind of the core of the DeKalb Green New Deal, and diving a little bit deeper in here tonight. It's about an hour each session, so we're maybe like 5 minutes behind schedule at this point, but we're going to keep it really straightforward, not go into too much detail because we want to hear more from y'all and understand there's a lot more great work to be done, more information, education to be had. But tonight we really wanted to focus in on clean energy and energy efficiency. And so the 2 guest speakers we have tonight, first is Summer Pomeroy from South Face, and she'll introduce South Face and who they are and what they do. We're really, really excited to work with South Face because at the end of 2021, I believe it was, the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners passed a resolution committing our county to a 100% clean energy and clean transportation future by 2050. We are aligning our vision and our goal with not only the Biden administration that has laid out these goals and these pledges in the Inflation Reduction Act that passed Congress last year, but also Southern Company, the parent company of Georgia Power, which in the past has been a real big polluter, but the Southern Company has also made a commitment to be net zero carbon by 2050. And so this is really exciting because on one side, we've got our federal lawmakers and the agencies that, whether they're Department of Energy or Environmental Protection Agency or the Department of Transportation, seeing this North Star of a clean energy future. And then we have our very own power company that basically is the power company for DeKalb County. Everyone who gets a power bill in DeKalb County probably has a Georgia Power bill. And so this is really exciting because we're really aligning our interests and our vision to see this clean energy future, not only because it's the right thing to do and because it's important for our climate, but study after study shows that we can create millions of green jobs through transitioning to a clean energy economy, and also save our residents, our businesses, money on their power bills. And so this is the real trifecta here. And so after Summer goes and talks about South Face and the work that we'll be doing really over the next year and a half, as we chart this plan and this future for DeKalb County's clean energy future, we're going to hear from Mr. Gordon Kenna. Gordon's there on the screen right there. And Gordon is the Special Projects Coordinator for the DeKalb County Public Works Department. He's going to talk about specifically the work he's been doing with our fleet as well as our facilities departments to install electric vehicle chargers and help us already begin the transition to clean transportation. And that's turning our massive fleets of all the vehicles that we buy in DeKalb County over the next several years to cleaner burning, to all electric. And so that's really exciting. And then of course, we're joined by Miranda Rupke, who's our special projects coordinator, working on the DeKalb Green New Deal. She's a staffer in the Super District 6 office. She'll be talking later about some of the questions we might get from the audience, as well as some that came up last night that we didn't get a chance to go into, and then talking about how you can get more involved in this clean energy and energy efficiency electric vehicle work ahead, and then preview the webinar tomorrow night, on Thursday, and then our Earth Day events on Friday and Saturday. They're happening all over the county. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Sumner. Sumner from Southface. I'll let you introduce yourself and your background there, and I know you have a slide presentation. So Sumner, welcome. Looking forward to working with the amazing organization that Southface is. We're just so blessed that y'all are around and that you've been doing this work for so many years, and you have a great background working with other municipalities and governments here in Georgia. So we just really excited for you to be here and tell everyone who y'all are, what you do, and the work that we have in store for DeKalb County.
Thanks so much, Commissioner Terry. Appreciate you having me here. So as we're getting the slides pulled up, I'll just share with y'all that I've been with Southface now for about 1.5 years, and prior to that have about 9 years of experience in program and project management with other nonprofits and public sector. And so I also want to mention that I am also a homeowner in DeKalb County, so this also directly affects me. Now we're going to talk a little bit about clean energy and what that means for DeKalb County, but first I want to share with you guys a little bit more about Southface. Our mission is to promote sustainable homes, workplaces, and communities through a variety of methods, offering educational resources, we're doing various research projects, advocacy, and offering technical assistance. Our vision is to have a healthy environment for all, achieved by sustainability, innovation, and equity in the communities that we all build together. Southface, as Commissioner Terry mentioned, is a long-standing nonprofit over 40 years old that is focused on practical building and infrastructure solutions for environmental challenges since 1978. We have an office located next to the Civic Center in the Old Fourth Ward neighborhood. It's got an eco office side. It's very nice and modern with a green room. And then it's got a old home side that is made for all of the, well, back in the 90s, what were the most energy efficient options for homes to be retrofitted for, to give as an example. We also have a new office in Sarasota, so they're doing great work in Florida as well. Got over 40 Southfacers with 50 plus professional certifications, so a lot of great experience. And we do a lot of different programs and services, mainly focused on ensuring that sustainability works for everybody. Some of the offerings that we have include Good Use, Earthcraft, and Bit Building, some of our more popular programs. We do a lot of work with advocacy and energy policy, transportation partnerships. We have various training and professional credentials, do some different research projects, and offer thought leadership. And we have a really great alumni and member network that will do, those of you familiar with the winter and summer solstice events that we have, or the SART Sustainable Action Roundtable. We just recently got started with that again after COVID. So a lot of great events and things for folks to be part of. Some of the things that we've done just in the last year, we've helped to reduce 842 metric tons of emissions through the building program. We had 114 projects that were Earthcraft certified in 2022, and 30 of those include affordable housing. 3.5 million in utility savings cumulatively through Good Use grantees, and those are for nonprofits to be able to save on energy efficiency changes and then be able to put that money back into their mission. 1,200 attendees for various advocacy and technical trainings in 2022 as well. So why clean energy? Commissioner Terry touched on this a little bit, but I want to give a little bit more in depth. So buildings and transportation make up a huge portion of the issues with climate change and the emissions. 47% of global carbon emissions come from buildings and construction. And 28% come from transportation. So these two together, if we can really tackle them, will make a huge difference for our climate, for our economy, and for our clean air. So as we look at the source of our energy, we want to also look at the source of our electricity. So this is a graph that shows the changes of electricity and the sources over time. So even just 5 years ago, coal was, I think, about 40% of the overall energy profile, and now it's down to 15%. So we have natural gas and nuclear that are helping to fill the gaps on that, not necessarily renewable energy, but they are helping to reduce emissions. And then we have renewables slowly but surely increasing. And so that's what the goal of Clean Energy Plan is, to really amp that production up. As we look at our clean energy, we also want to really think about energy security or insecurity. So if you can see from these charts in the South, it's a huge issue for folks being able to just have the ability to meet their household's basic needs and what they need to heat, cool, and light their home. And the other piece about that is that our low-income households spend 3 times as much income on their energy bills. So that's partially due to the fact that the homes aren't built as efficiently in the first place. And then on top of that, they have to pay more exorbitant fees for their utility bills when they have less money. As we look at DeKalb and what areas have more energy burden, this is a map that is from the Climate, Economic, and Justice Screening Tool for the Justice 40 program. And you can just see some of the light bluish / darker gray areas in the Decatur, Stone Mountain, and Candler areas in DeKalb County are what I highlighted right now as more energy overburdened. So just a few examples of some of our past work. One is with the city of Decatur, their Clean Energy Plan. The process that they used, and we use for others as well, is simply to get started developing what we want to have our community engagement process look like, gather all of the input, and it can be a variety of methods. It can be one-on-ones, it can be an open house, going door to door, lots of different options. Then taking all of that feedback that we get and gathering them into an action plan with prioritization, and then developing that plan with our stakeholders and making sure that it meets the needs before going forward and actually coming up with an implementation for the plan. So not only coming up with a beautiful plan, like we have all these great ideas, but also coming up with exactly how are we going to make this happen? What are the next steps? How can we develop this and finalize toolkit and resources for folks to use? So Decatur's clean energy goals was 2030 having municipal buildings completely supplied by clean and renewable energy. By 2035 having community buildings and municipal vehicles. And then by 2050, all other community uses, including transportation, supplied with 100% clean and renewable energy. And you can see on the right here some of their action areas and pathways to make sure that they could get that done. Next, I want to share with you an example with Athens' Clean Energy Plan. So they had some similar goals. By 2035, 100% clean and renewable electricity for all municipal properties and government operations. And by 2050, meeting the community electricity demand with 100% clean and renewable electricity. And their plan looked like a road to 100%. So they had adopted a resolution and worked with grassroots partners. They had a SPLOS that was ratified by voters and helped to develop some funding that then led into their community energy fund. And so this was money that they are able to use to help local clean energy projects throughout the community. And the planning efforts, they worked with nonprofits, local organizations, and so forth to be able to figure out what the projects needed to look like and how they should proceed towards their clean energy goals. Athens also took a look at equity and really focused on the energy overburden piece and looked at where in Athens do more people have issues with their energy bills, and really wanting to engage folks and make sure that they're part of the planning process, including lower income, Black community of colors, and senior communities, to make sure that they are brought into the planning process from the start. So what does DeKalb County's clean energy and transportation plan look like? That is for us to find out. As Commissioner Terry has mentioned, we have just recently / are working on now putting the final touches on a contract. I see this little congratulations things. Thank you. And we'll have a group of some great partners working with us on this. So there's those of us at South Face, and on the call today, but not able to speak at the moment, would be my partner in crime, Samantha Pettigrew. She'll be a project lead on this program. And working with our partners, Clean Cities Georgia, which is another nonprofit that's hosted at South Face, focused on alternative fuels, vehicles, and transportation. Also working with Energetics, which is a national clean energy consulting company. IB Environmental, our local small business that's focused on water and energy use and affordability for programs. And then Cherry Street Energy with the solar component. So we've got a really great team. We're really excited to be getting this work started very soon, and really want to thank Commissioner Terry and Gordon for all of the work that they've done behind the scenes to help make this happen. All right, well, with that, I'll take any questions.
Awesome, thanks, Sumner. And maybe let me kick us off here. Really excited to work with y'all, and maybe just thinking about the work that y'all done with other cities and counties on their clean energy plan, like Cater, for instance. What was, I guess maybe two-part question. One, like, how long did it take? And two, what were some kind of like lessons that kind of, I guess, maybe evolved over the different plans, or, did different communities kind of have different solutions? Maybe just speak a little bit of how maybe DeKalb might be its own unique plan in some ways compared to maybe other locations.
Sure. So the process that we have outlined is typically about 14-month process, and that's to really make sure that there's enough time for proper community engagement. So we don't want to just have, one open house on one day. You want to have multiple time offerings at different times of the day, in person and virtual, to make sure it works for everyone. So that's a big piece of the timeline component. And then as far as, what was the second part of your question again? Do you mind reminding me?
I think how long did it take?
Okay, that was the how long it take piece. I think it was the unique.
Oh yeah, the different because this is meant to be like a DeKalb plan, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously we're different than every other community, but there's a lot of similarities. Mm-hmm. So what makes it unique?
Sure, and a big piece of what's going to make it unique is what y'all decide are your priorities. And listening to what the folks who live here, what they actually want to see happen in DeKalb County. So really, listening and finding out what those needs are, because no two places are alike. And the folks that live here, myself included, are going to have different opinions about what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember at the end of the kickoff event last night, we had several pediatricians and doctors that were in the audience, and their big issue that they brought up is clean air. Mm-hmm. And air pollution, and of course, and like I not planned or anything, but my laptop just alerted me that we have air pollution high, like risk levels, like right now, in the DeKalb County area. It was like in the orange zone, like right now as we speak. So it's depending on where in the state or where in the country you are, we have different environmental conditions. So that's really important, because we're not going to be able to transition to a clean energy economy if we don't put the people that we're trying to serve at the center of those solutions. We don't want to create a plan that isn't for the people that which it serves. So that's really great. Awesome. And I don't know if anyone, feel free, folks online, to submit a question through the Q&A. And then certainly at the end, we can kind of come back if there's any questions we didn't get to. But let's go ahead and thank you, Summer, so much for your presentation. Looking forward to working with y'all. And I hear little birdie in the office says that we're getting close to signing the contract, which I know that's like the number one thing before we can actually move forward. So hopefully we'll everyone listening and watching later will be announcing kind of the kickoff event, I think, to that hopefully very soon, because that work will hopefully begin in the near future. So thank you again, Sumner.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Awesome. All right. So let me turn it over to Gordon Kenna. Gordon, want everyone just to, want you to give everyone a little bit of your background, but you have been working very diligently in the DeKalb County Public Works Department and with the Facilities Department, specifically around a lot of environmental issues, but lately around electric vehicle transitions, electric chargers, working to obtain grant funds for those charging infrastructure. So Gordon, I'll turn it over to you. Tell everyone what you've been working on and then what things that we have in store when it comes to electric vehicles in DeKalb County.
Okay, and thank you, Commissioner, and my sincere thanks to Southface, with whom I have a very long relationship, and it's been, frankly, most of what I know about this subject I probably learned from Southface. To cut sort of directly to the chase, and then I want to back up a little bit. We recently moved into a new building that was formerly the Department of Family and Children Services. We completely renovated the building, new HVAC systems, new lighting, a lot of features that are environmentally friendly, a cool roof, and so forth. And then as a part of that, we thought, gosh, we've really got to go ahead and put in some EV chargers, because we've got 5 different departments in this building. And so on a kind of a hurry up basis, I was able to get 72 chargers installed. They're all functional. We don't have that many vehicles yet, but we're getting them soon. We're going to be buying 90 new vehicles over the course of the balance of this year and early next. There's some delay in getting certain types of electric vehicles, but we know that they are coming, and so we want to be ready. I've got some more work to do with respect to putting in a network for all of those chargers, and then in addition to that, I expect to start construction either in late May or more likely early June with the Department of Watershed Management facility out in Stone Mountain, where we have a fairly large facility, and I'm going to be putting in 46 level 2 chargers and 1 DC fast charger. And they'll be for the exclusive use of the Department of Watershed Management. As you would expect in a situation like that, all that's behind the fence. It's fairly high security. It's not available to the public, but we've got to keep those vehicles at the ready for the folks that deliver water and sewer services for you. So that's a really, really important project, and we're looking forward to getting those too. So by the end of the summer, I think we've got a little more than 100 EV chargers. I'm also putting in a DC fast charger out there at Watershed Management. Let me take just a minute, at the risk of telling you a bunch of stuff that you may already know. There's basically 3 levels of charging: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is a 110 volt outlet. That's basically like a hairdryer. Level 2 is a 220 connection. That's basically the kind of power that you would need to run an electric stove or a dryer. And then there are level 3 DC fast chargers that give a much faster charge. Level 1 is sometimes referred to as a trickle charge. So it'll charge your car, but it's going to take a pretty long time. So level 2 is kind of the preferred, and that's frankly what most of the grant money is going to be able to pay for, depending on your vehicle type and the amount of energy that you need. It'll take between 2 and 4 hours to get a full charge for your vehicle. A lot that we don't, and the DC fast charger is capable of charging a light duty pickup truck or sedan in typically 15 or 20 minutes, and often less than that if you're depending on how low you are. Most of the grant funding, as I mentioned, is available for the level 2 charging. And there are a couple of things to understand about this. The first is that they've changed the rules very recently to require, and when I say they, I'm talking about both the federal government and in Georgia, the Public Service Commission have both said in the future, all of the chargers must be available to the public. Now, because I've got 2 lots that are already constructed for dedicated use for fleet type vehicles, we're probably going to have, we're in a pretty good situation with respect to the county's vehicles. And while I am on that subject, I want to let you know, we are really, really proud of what our fleet department has done. They are part of Public Works. They've won just about every award you can win for excellence in fleet management. We have an incredibly diverse fleet, everything from diesel to CNG to propane, but we're going full tilt electric now, and have won awards all over the country and generally considered to be in the best of class for municipally owned fleets. And our fleets for electric are everything from a sedan, the Chevy Bolt, the Ford Lightning F-150, and we've got some others that we're looking at, the Mach-E, I think that we're going to purchase pretty soon. So it's a lot of variety in the fleet itself. And what that really means as a matter of operational efficiency for fleet, electric vehicles require virtually no maintenance. So you bring them in and you say, okay, well, you know, it's been 5,000 miles since we've seen you. Your tires look okay. I guess you need a little windshield washer fluid. Otherwise, I think you're good to go. We don't do anything else. You don't have to lubricate the car. You don't have to, you know, change things, change oil and so forth. So it's really going to ultimately save us a lot of money. And when you look at the total cost of ownership, even though these vehicles are a little more expensive to purchase, they are much less expensive to maintain. So we get a lot of savings in addition to the efficiency and the environmental benefits associated with all that. So I mentioned the first lot that we opened is at Sam Street. This building was designed with a lot of different features to be more efficient. That's why we thought the EV charging ought to go there. It has a cool roof, new HVAC systems, new lighting. We're adjacent to the path trail, and we're pretty much adjacent to the Avondale MARTA station. The building also features showers and bike racks for people that are able to bike to work and want to take a shower afterward and so forth. So we're really proud of the way that building is going to make us overall more efficient. And we are probably, I guess now, the largest single employment center for DeKalb County employees. So we've kind of combined a lot of things into that single building. I wanted to touch a little bit on how we pay for these things. And to date, we've been able to find some grant funds. Georgia Power and the Public Service Commission has a program called Make Ready, in which they supply a dedicated transformer for the project and the switchgear and the buried infrastructure for the cable. And so what we're having to do is to connect everything and actually purchase the charger and the network. We're feeling pretty good about that, but like I say, in the process of doing that, everybody has changed their rules so that now everything has to be available to the public. So what we're looking at in the future, in the relatively near-term future, and that would be a year or two from now, most of our new charging operations will be in downtown Decatur, probably the library, and we have a 1,000-space parking garage. I can't get to that one probably until early next year, because we're also renovating the garage, planning to put a solar canopy on the roof. And frankly, for a 1,000-space garage, I don't know how many chargers we should have. If you've got some ideas for that, let me have them. I need to understand that. Probably a minimum of 10%, perhaps more. So that would be 100 chargers for that building. And since parking demand is quite high in downtown Decatur, we expect that facility to get a lot of use, as is also the case for the Decatur Library. Otherwise, we're looking at libraries and parks as really good locations for the public. And we want to spread these around so that we're going into all areas of the county and we're reaching those areas that are traditionally underserved. There is a little bit of an issue with some of that, in that while most of our county is served by Georgia Power, part of the county is served by the Snapping Shoals Electric Membership Co-op. They don't have a make-ready program, so we'll have to figure out a different way to provide service in those areas. And that includes things like the Stonecrest Library, which is one of our larger libraries. But we're determined to make sure that we cover the entire county, including those areas that are traditionally underserved. In terms of kind of where, the other locations that are next, and parks and libraries are not going to be the kind of location typically where you're going to find 20 or 30 chargers. It's more like 10, 12, maybe we'll have a few that have as many as 20. A place like Callenwald, which has concerts, special events, classes, and other kinds of activities, might get as many as a dozen or 15 chargers, but there tend to be a smaller number at parks. And then at libraries, similarly, unless it's a large library, particularly where we have early voting and other kinds of activities that generate a lot more traffic, we'll tend to have more. But we're kind of trying to focus on those, like I say, all around the county. The other thing that's important to note there, and this is where it gets a little bit complicated, all of your charging facilities really should be networked so that we don't send a bill to the county department that's using that charger. That's considered not revenue. But a business guy that comes out, or a resident that comes and says, I need to charge my car, or I'm going to be in the county's garage, you would be charged according to the amount of power that you use. And typically that's going to be $1 an hour or something in that range. And I think the other thing that we're really struggling with, and we just don't know the answer, so we're doing what we do know yet, is for those areas that have multifamily buildings, it's typically the owner's responsibility to figure out how to put charging infrastructure to service those buildings. And they'll all want to do it because then it adds value to your building, and people want to buy or rent in a building that has EV charging capability. We can't require that, but we are anticipating that Commissioner Terry and others will come up with some kind of consensus so that when new buildings are built, that charging is a requirement for new houses or multifamily buildings or new parking garages. And the question there is, how much charging? If you have somebody that comes in and builds a 1,000-space garage, is it half the spaces, 10%? I don't know. But wiser people than I can help figure that out. And some of them are in our audience. So I'm encouraging your input on how to approach that, and provide your advice to me directly, and I will pass it along to Commissioner Terry so his colleagues can figure out what kind of ordinances need to be passed in order to make charging more available. But that's our current plan, is to do that. And the other piece I wanted to mention in this, and this is so important for Southface to be involved with us, nobody gets any of this Inflation Reduction Act money for the CPRG, the climate pollution reduction grants. Nobody gets any of that money until they go through a planning process. We have not started that planning process now. What they have done is they have granted money to the state of Georgia and to the Atlanta Regional Commission, and the ARC will coordinate what kind of needs are out there and how that gets done. And so in that way, hopefully we won't try to put charging infrastructure at the Chamblee Library, and Chamblee is trying to do it themselves. And I think, well, wait, we need to get on the same page. So that's part of ARC's role, but you have to go through that planning process in order to get to the part where then you can submit your application and say, here's where I'm going to spend your money. So there you have it. That's kind of the big picture, what we've done a little bit in the past and the way we're planning to approach this in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gordon. Very comprehensive as always. And I just want to just publicly thank you for really working right when I became commissioner in January 2021. You know, we had our little like department orientations and we had our meeting together, and you said, we got to get these charging stations set up because there's Georgia Power and Public Service Commission make ready EV money, but you got to like apply for it. You got to go for it. You got to put a plan together. And so because of your leadership way back in early 2021 to just sort of plan out that, like you said, the Sam Street building at Road Haven and all the other facilities, that this year, and we announced, you know, we talked about it last night at one of our little quizzes at the kickoff event about how many electric vehicles DeKalb County plans to purchase this year, and it's going to be 90 electric vehicles. And we couldn't do that if we didn't have the charging infrastructure. So Gordon, thank you so much for your leadership and being in the trenches, you know, working in the bureaucracy, right? I mean, there's the unsung heroes of the bureaucracy
Well,
that
listen,
we'll all recognize one day.
Thank you for that, but let me correct the record just a little bit there.
Okay, please do.
I did a little bit of the grunt work, but Commissioner Terry, it was actually you that said you had been to a meeting and talked with one of the public service commissioners, and they had said, you better get up and apply for that make ready money. It's not going to last all that long. And when you told me that, I called them up right then and I made that first application. So
there you go. Okay. All right. It was a team effort. It was a team effort there. So Team DeKalb, we had our green team, you know, moving forward at that point. And so this is really leading us to, I think, you know, exactly what you talked about, because I mean, I don't even know how many billions of dollars are available to local governments through the Inflation Reduction Act and through the bipartisan infrastructure law. But Gordon is exactly right. You know, we have to have this plan to really access additional monies. And so because of South Base, because of the prep work we've been doing the last 2 years, we're really, really well positioned to hopefully get some funds this year, but then moving into later this year into next year, really try to capture what we're doing, our goal and our vision and our plan is with the funds that are available to do a lot of this work. So thank you, Gordon. What was the other? I was going to mention one other thing you said. Oh yeah, and then just fun fact, I have test driven 2 of our newest electric vehicles, the Ford F-150 Lightning and the Mustang Mach-E. And so this is really exciting because, well, one, those are really fun cars to drive. And so, Gordon, we're going to have to make sure we do a Drive Electric Week event at the Maloof building so we can have all of our constituents and staffers do a little test drive of the electric vehicles because, one, they're really fun. I followed the speed limits, I promise, 0 to 45 in like 1 second. I think it's like 0 to 60 in like 3 or 4 seconds. It's like incredibly fast. But we were already talking with our Parks and Rec department about piloting out an all-electric leaf blower crew for some of our parks in the east side maintenance sort of zone. And we think that the electric Ford Lightning pickup truck, which, you know, basically a mobile battery, will be perfect for their battery-backed banks, hooking everything up. And so we're working with Paige Singer at the Parks Department. Director Ellis has like, let's trust pilot it out. So we're really excited to get the Parks Department, kind of get their interest in the electric vehicles. And then I mentioned this last night, but every police officer in DeKalb County gets a take-home car. It is one of our strategies for recruitment, helps just sort of with you know, wear and tear and getting to work, and it's a very popular thing amongst our officers. And that Mach-E, 300-mile range, very fast, very sleek, needs to be outfitted, you know, for all the police doodads and gadgets and everything. But I think that's in our future, as one, just turning our take-home fleets to 100%, you know, electric, but then hopefully, you know, get a little shine for having a really cool vehicle that I think would have a great dual purpose of being clean burning as well as effective for our police force.
And I've got a special incentive for both the Parks Department and the public safety folks. I'm applying next month for funding for a device that operates on solar. You park your vehicle on a metal plate, just like the metal plates that we have covering holes in the road, and it can charge a vehicle, and it has batteries in the device. So I'm really excited about that, and I want to put it there because that'll kind of encourage all our public safety folks and the parks people who are all located in the same place, to be able to access that, and the public can as well there at West Exchange Place at Tucker. So I think it'll attract a lot of attention and kind of help people to understand it can. In addition to charging vehicles, if you run into an emergency situation, you can move that device to a place where you don't have any power. You can run your lights, you can run your communications, you can charge your vehicles, you can do it all. It's not easy to move. It weighs 10,000 pounds, but that's okay.
Okay, good. Well, that's, I mean, and that's kind of like is that like sort of like the wireless iPhone chargers kind of, like
a little bit. You don't connect to anything. You don't need a permit. You just buy it and plug it in and
all right,
let the sunshine on it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I remember, I think, isn't the Ray working on like some solar panels or solar sort of features along the highway in LaGrange?
They are indeed. They're on that section of 85, but this is a different take on that. But anyway, it'll really help attract some attention and give us some options for fast implementation.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, so thank you, Gordon. We got a couple questions that came in, and so let's see if we can tackle those real quick here before we turn over to Miranda. So yes, Marcy Alexander. I too was shocked because we made the quiz question a couple weeks ago, and then we were like, wait, does DeKalb County really have 0 solar panels? And Gordon, you confirmed it. 0 solar. Now, I'm pretty sure like some of the schools have solar panels, like Arabia Mountain, I think, has some solar panels. So it's not like everyone in DeKalb isn't doing something. I know there's some city buildings and other municipalities that have solar panels, but Marcy, you're exactly right. We are behind, which is why it's so important that as we do this clean energy planning process and really think about that, not just the government approach to 100% clean energy, but our community-wide approach, that we don't really need to delay. There doesn't really need to be too much study around or planning about whether solar energy is a good thing for our budgets as well as our environment. And so in next month, I'll be partnering with some commissioners to introduce a resolution to do a solar RFP. Which, you know, that's just the magic words for the government to go out and ask the solar community to submit project ideas on solar on our rooftops, our parking lots. I see Chris in another question asked about some of our watershed, our water and sewer plants, water treatment plants. We have a lot of acreage that is under the control of DeKalb County, whether it's our buildings, parking lots. We got 300 acres surrounding Pole Bridge out in southeast DeKalb, and so lots of space for those solar panels. So stay tuned. This is for all the Green New Dealers out there. We are going to be introducing that item on the agenda in May. It'll go to the Operations Committee, which is the committee that looks over facilities. And maybe PWI that does watershed, and hopefully we'll get approval of that, and then we can begin that process of trying to get the bids and the costs for installing solar panels in DeKalb County.
Well, and
Very
when we
exciting.
get to work with South Face and their partners, Cherry Street Energy, with whom I have a pretty long relationship. Sam Street is the first building we've already validated that
Yes.
it can handle that load, and that's what I'm going to recommend, that we go there first. And then there are a lot of others, but there are a lot of great opportunities there, and just so looking forward to working with the folks at South Face to kind of get consensus on where can we get the fastest possible deployment of these solar panels.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Gordon, because some of these things will take, it really could take several years to install solar panels on all of the buildings, right, Gordon? It would take quite a while.
We can put a set of solar panels on a different building every month for the next 5 years, and we're nowhere near done.
Yeah.
Think of how many libraries and fire stations and locations you've never heard of. They're out there.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that I don't want to bring in Sumner here because Chris had a really good question, because I think, one of our biggest energy users is the watershed department, pumping all that water, treating all the sewage. And so Sumner, can you speak about, in particular about the water utilities aspect, these treatment plants? What are some, whether they're green energy, green infrastructure, climate mitigation, what have you all seen at South Face, and what are other communities working on in that regard?
So I'll be honest, I'm not the water person, so I'm not sure if I have the answer to that question. But I will say that I'm really excited about our local small business partner, IB Environmental. They have a really rich experience with water and water affordability utilities, but also water treatment plants and things. So I'm really excited to see what experience and offerings they bring to the table for this project.
Awesome. Okay, that's very exciting. So they'll be working with the team on the clean energy plan. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. They're one of our partners. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And then just to maybe add a little bit more to that for Chris's question, so there's sort of like the energy side of things, right? We've got to treat the water, but then there's stormwater, which is just another environmental issue. And we actually just had, if y'all watched our PWI meeting today, which I know not everyone does because it's really long and boring sometimes. But we have some serious issues with our water and sewer, infrastructure in DeKalb County. And our latest report is showing that most of the sewer overflows in DeKalb County are coming from stormwater intrusion. And it's not just on the public side, it's also on the private side as well. So just individual, what we call laterals from your home or your apartment to the public system. And we're looking at another $1 billion in expenses there. And so one of the things that we talked about is, well, how can we create an equitable green infrastructure system? How can we address those overflows, but also just the actual storm water systems? We think about bioswales, we think about rain gardens, we think about more ecologically sound stormwater projects that are, sorry, that's my cat over there, probably wants to be fed, about how we can, increase the water quality as it's being, processed and cleaned before it gets to our river sheds. And so that's something that we got to be very cognizant of. And another opportunity for the Green New Dealers, I'm trying that out, Miranda. I'm going to call everyone the DeKalb Green New Dealers. But the Public Works Department is proposing an increase to the stormwater utility fees that everyone pays. And if you're not a homeowner, you might not see this on, be aware of this, but every home in DeKalb County pays $48 a year for stormwater fees. We have not raised those fees in like 20 years. And would it surprise anyone that we've been running a deficit in our budget for the last 6 years because we haven't had enough revenue coming in to do all of the stormwater projects needed? And we have over 1,000 detention ponds in DeKalb County that we are responsible for maintaining. And so we have a real opportunity as we look at these investments of potentially another $20 million in our stormwater infrastructure to do a more green infrastructure approach. And this is going to be something that will be before the commissioners probably next month. And so Miranda, we're going to have to send a little action alert out to make sure everyone's aware of what we'll be voting on and what's on our agenda. And we really want to encourage everyone to help send in comments, either come to the meeting, send in comments to support this idea of green infrastructure. So I think Chris Mangalello, he really talks a lot about, the importance of that, because this is part of our climate mitigation strategy, being more resilient, being able to handle whether there's sewer overflows or major flooding events because of climate change. We talked about the huge floods and erosion and other impacts from these more intense weather patterns that are in store for our future. They're here now, and they're likely to get worse if we don't take action.
It's another great learning we can get from South Face. I had the great privilege of working with South Face to install the pervious pavement, both on the sidewalk and in the terrace and the sidewalk around the side of the building and so forth. Very effective, really reduces stormwater runoff, and it fits nicely into a stormwater utility. So it's a piece of green infrastructure that is often overlooked, but very effective.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of best practices that could be used for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really exciting. Awesome. Well, let me thank Sumner from South Face and Gordon Kenna for your presentation this evening. Thank you all so much for sharing your knowledge and walking us through some of the things that we're doing and that we have in store before us. And let me turn over to close this out, Miranda, to talk about what's next. I will put up the slides here for what's next tomorrow and Thursday, and then our Earth Week events and a call to action. Miranda, go ahead.
Hi, sorry, my mute button got hidden for a second. Thank you so much, Commissioner Terry and Sumner and Gordon, for joining us. Thank you all at home for watching and coming to learn more about clean energy in DeKalb County, whether the work that we've already done or the future of clean energy. It's very exciting to see y'all all engage in our main CTA call to action that we have. We had it last night as well, and we'll continue to share it throughout these events. This is our second event. But we are asking y'all to fill out the DeKalb Green New Deal champion form or Green New Dealer form, whatever y'all can choose, the name for yourselves. But this is an incredible call to action, because it's going to be how we know who to engage with and who to call on for engagement sessions, other educational events. Even today, we talked a lot about opportunities, whether that be advocating for certain policies at the Board of Commissions to coming out to clean energy engagement sessions at South Face. We'll potentially be doing. So please fill out that form so we can continue to engage with y'all and give more call to actions in the future, as well as, hear from y'all on what issues are happening in your neighborhoods that we should know about. What opportunities do you see? What groups are you already engaging with, and what work you're already doing in this capacity? We'd love to stay connected. We have another event tomorrow, April 19th via Zoom. You can see the guest speakers listed on the screen, as well as the topics that they'll be discussing. It's primarily a topic of a just and equitable Green New Deal. We'd love for y'all to join us. And then also on Thursday, we're going to be discussing conservation and access to nature. Again, you can see the speakers on the screen, as well as the topics. And we're going to continue to talk about in both of those the work that has been done, as well as the work that can be done, the future, and what we hope that y'all will be able to get involved with as the DeKalb Green New Deal keeps going on. There are also a lot of Earth Week events or Earth Day events on Friday and Saturday in different cities and different parks. So please check those out. There's some on the screen right now, but we've also been putting that on Commissioner Terry's Facebook and Instagram, as well as the newsletter. And if you all want to get in touch with us further, you can follow Commissioner Ted Terry on Instagram, Facebook. You can email us, phone number, as well as our Chief of Staff, our Commissioner Terry's Chief of Staff, Kelly Cato's email is also on the screen. So please stay in touch with us, fill out the form, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.